Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the Indianapolis Colts and going over why I think they are a Darkhorse Super Bowl team for the upcoming season. But before we get into that topic, question for those of you viewing, where do you rank the Colts defense for 2021? You think it's top 5, top 10, top 12, top 15, wherever you got it, comment down below and I'll give my answer at the end. Getting straight into it though, addressing the elephant in the room, Carson Wentz, of course he's going to be dependent upon this team's success, whether it be 3 wins, 4 wins, 10 wins, a Super Bowl win. Your quarterback is the most important position on the football field, and Carson Wentz has a big question mark on his back. In my opinion, I am not a Colts fan. I'm not necessarily a Carson Wentz fan. I don't root against him, and I don't root for him. But I am unbiased in the sense that I am going to trust that he still has something in him. I mean, look, he had as worst of a year as you could last year. If he didn't have that bad of a year, he wouldn't have been benched for a second-round rookie or traded away from his team. They wouldn't have given up on him if he was this spectacular thing last year. However, the 3 years before that, Carson Wentz is very efficient, very productive. He's been to the playoffs several times. I don't know. I can't say he would have made the Super Bowl run that Nick Foles did. I can't predict the future, but he was an MVP candidate. The past 3 years before last year, he threw only 7 interceptions each season. Yes, some games or some of those seasons he only played parts of the season, but of those 3 seasons, 2017, 2018, 2019, he's played 11 games, 13 games, 16 games. Each of those years, only 7 picks. Last year, doubled it, 15 picks, and then some good amount of fumbles along that as well. But it just shows Carson Wentz has a better track record of being productive, efficient, better track record of just being a good quarterback than a bad quarterback. I think he's walkie-talking once again, and I think a big reason he fell apart recently is he lost his offensive coordinator, Frank Reich. That was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles when they made a Super Bowl run. Guess who the head coach for the Colts is? Former Eagles offensive coordinator, Frank Reich. He had a bad O-line last year. They're all banged up and unhealthy. This year, he's got a top 2 offensive line. Everything that he needs is really coming back in place. You can knock the Colts receivers. Personally, I think they should have actually taken a receiver in the draft or looked at some free agency. They're betting big on Michael Pittman instead to step forward and make this big leap in his experience, his talent, his skill. While I think he can make that leap, I still don't think it is the best unit. I like Zach Pascal, I like T.Y. Hill, and I like Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, Jack Doyle. There's some studs on that receiving room, but when you're in division with Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, you're in the same conference as Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Lamar Jackson's electricity. Not that his receivers are amazing, that's a complete different team. Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Josh Allen, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Herbert's on the come up. Who am I missing? Browns. They got the first best offensive line in the NFL, along with OBJ, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, Austin Hooper. Again, I'm not saying the Colts suck, but I just think it's going to be hard to go toe-to-toe as far as receivers when looking up at the team matchups. And therefore, that's why I'm not predicting them to be a Super Bowl favorite. To me, there's 5 powerhouses in the AFC. I think it's the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Browns, and the Titans are just kind of hanging on there. I really got to see them prove that they're a powerhouse before I give it to them, but I am going to hang them as the 5th powerhouse. They're kind of the runt of the top crew. But the Colts are a surprise team that I do believe in. A, I think Carson Wentz is going to turn around. B, you got the 2nd best offensive line in the league. C, you got a top 10 running back who's on the come up, Jonathan Taylor, and even outside of him, obviously you don't want this to happen. But what I like about the Colts is the depth they have in the backfield. If Jonathan Taylor went down, you still have a decent contingency plan of Nyheim Hines, of Marlon Mack. It's a deep backfield. That's good to see, just like the Browns. If Nick Chubb goes down, not ideal, no one wants to happen, but they still got Kareem Hunt. Look at the Rams. They lost Cam Akers, and all of a sudden there's rumors they're talking to Todd Gurley again. Colts luckily don't have that problem. They got some depth to that backfield. I like the offense as a whole. I like Frank Reich, and I'm a big fan of the defense as well. Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, they brought in Kwity Paye, Xavier Rhodes, underrated Kenny Moore, Tyquan Lewis, Solomon Thomas, I believe. Solomon Thomas is on the Raiders, excuse me. DeForest Buckner was a former 49 that I was thinking of. But either way, it's a great pass rush. I'm still curious if they'll be looking at Justin Houston, who's still out there in free agency, former Colt. I don't think they will. I think Kwity Paye, in a way, took his role, not exactly, but still enough for them not to need him anymore. Either way, I'm a big fan of the Colts defense. I do think some of the parts are older, more specifically Xavier Rhodes. I do think if the Colts don't make a run this year, they're going to have some secondary issues along the way. Once Xavier Rhodes finally takes a step back, but as of right now, I think they're fine. I think they have a top 10 defense, top 2 O-line. top 10 running back, and I truly believe Carson Wentz can get back to top 15 quarterback realm again. I'm not predicting them to be a Super Bowl contender. I think they are a year away from picking up a big receiver, picking up an extra guy in the secondary. But just because they're a year away from being a Super Bowl favorite, a powerhouse, doesn't mean if they get to the playoffs this year, they aren't a dark horse team. They can't make some noise in the playoffs. Once you're in the playoffs, you got a puncher's chance. It is anyone's chance in the playoffs. You can look at the team matchups all you want, quarterback matchups all you want, receiving matchups all you want, defensive matchups all you want. Sometimes, at the end of the day, it's just who has the better day, and therefore I do think the Colts are a dark horse Super Bowl team because of some of the aspects they have that are towards the top of the league. Top 2 protection, any O-line that is top 10 in the league does tend to have success. Carson Wentz, when he was with the Eagles and they made the Super Bowl run, they had the best offensive line in the league. Who was on there? Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. It was a stout O-line. This year, they have one as well. Everyone's in love with Quentin Nelson, and kudos to him, and I do think there could be some growing pains for the Colts in the beginning. Look, they have a tough schedule. They'll be out Eric Fisher for a while, but in time, I think they're going to be a scary team. A lot of people are going to, brush them off in the beginning of the season when they might have a below 500 record of 2-3 or even 1-4. I think they could be a very bad growing pains in the beginning of the season. If they can make it out of the first 4, 5, 6 weeks at 2-3, 3-3, 3-2, 3-4, I think they'll have a pretty good stretch along the way and finish even 12-5, 11-6. I like this Colts team to really be a complete different team from the beginning of the season to the end of the season and be on a hot streak heading in the playoffs. And I like teams with momentum. A lot of people don't believe in momentum, but I like this team to turn a lot of things around. Carson Wentz to get back in the top 15. Jonathan Taylor to go from top 10 to maybe top 5. This defense to go from maybe top 10 to top 5. Who knows how good Kwity Paye is? I'm not saying he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year I'm not saying he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I'm not saying he isn't. You also got on the pronunciation, Dayo Odeyingbo, round 2 pass rusher. Not going to lie, never heard of that name before, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but I like to see a second-round pick help out this pass rush, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to act like I know who the guy is. I just don't. I like this Colts squad. I believe them to be a dark horse team. I like them to make the playoffs, and like I said, once you get to the playoffs, I truly believe they can make some noise, and they are not a team I want to play in the playoffs, that's for sure. Again, not a Super Bowl favorite, not one of the top 4 powerhouses or the 5th one of the Titans is still unproven, but this is a team that I truly think might surprise the Titans and maybe win the division. Not saying it will happen, not betting it will happen, but I do think it can happen, and I do think the Colts are a dark horse Super Bowl team because of Darius Leonard, because of DeForest Buckner, because of Carson Wentz turnaround, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman stepping forward, a good coaching staff from Frank Reich, great GM, great O-line, great underrated secondary for now. I like them. We'll just have to see if it happens. If it comes to fruition, we'll just have to see. You guys tell me, do you agree or disagree? Are you all for the Colts? Are you saying they're going to go all the way? They are a Super Bowl favorite? Are you saying they're not even going to make the playoffs? Or are you like me in the middle where it's like, I'm not going to commit to either or, but I do think they can make some noise in the playoffs and be a dark horse team that anything can happen with. You guys tell me. And referring back to the question today, what I think their defense ranks, it's tough. There's some top ones in the league, that's for sure. You got, off the top of my head, this is in no order, Ravens, Niners, Browns are really improved, Broncos, Bucks, Washington, Steelers, Rams, Bears, Vikings. I'm not saying it's those 10, and then the Colts, Miami, New England. I'm just saying there's some top tier defense in the league that are all neck and neck that you can't go wrong either way saying who's better. I'd give the Colts the benefit of the doubt and say that they're top 10. It's going to be a contingency that their second round pick, again, don't really know how to say his name, Dayo Odeyingbo pans out, DeForest Buckner continues to progress, Kwity Paye pans out, Darius Leonard still continues to play as a top 3 linebacker. We need those things to continue and to progress, but I do think they're a top 10 defense, edging out a couple of those teams, maybe the Bears, maybe the Vikings. Those are just off the top of my head. Really, anyone can be edged out. This is tough defenses in the NFL, but I do think the Colts are one of them. You guys tell me, do you agree or disagree? As always, and of course, thank you for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.